Good afternoon, everybody. Slight technical hitch, and we still made it at 1.5 minutes just over the start time. So we are just getting prepared. People are still arriving. A nice number of people here already. Again, just making sure that everyone is ready. Bottle of drink, water, herbal tea, whatever it is you need to keep you going, staying hydrated, sun's out, to make sure we're looking after ourselves. Also, pens and paper at the ready as well. Give it another 30 seconds while we're waiting for people to come in. A couple more people arriving, fantastic. Heads up, going to give you a little bit of an intro for the end of those of you that are staying till the end of the session today. We've got a little bit of bonus material for you, which I'm really excited to be sharing, some new coaching tips and tools from the MBM lab, and also going to openly invite you guys that are arriving now. Get registered for Tuesday's session. So these lunchtime learnings, these sticky lunchtime learnings are going to continue for as long as you guys need it, for as long as we're in this situation in lockdown. We're going to be doing a 1 o'clock session, a 20-minute micro learning with Q&A every single day until things go back to some sort of normal, whatever that might look like in the future. So right now, we're going to share the link. Alison, you can't hear me? We had some challenges with this. Is there anyone else that can't hear me? Crash. Anyone else can't hear me? Can hear you fine, okay? Can hear me throwing my drink all down myself. It's a good look. We might have to edit that one out for the upload, just saying. Alison, just double check your speaker and your volume. I just had to do a complete system shutdown and then come back into this because we had some technical challenges there, but the reboot seemed to help. Apparently it cures 98% of all problems if you speak to your IT service desk. I'm not sure about that though. Highly debatable. So make sure everyone else has got a drink because I now don't. Good. So the first thing I want to share with you guys is the link for next Tuesday's learning. Okay. Alison, you might have to go out and come back in. Computer audio should be the right one. Double check your headphone port, all of those sorts of things. Take it out, put it back in, everything like that. If not, come out of GoToWebinar, come back into it afresh and see if that works. So next, we're going to continue to look at the mindset model today. We're going to be looking at D, which is about deliverables. Now on Tuesday, when we're going to come back to this, we're going to be looking at space, which is going to be talking about our environment. So we're going to share the link for next Tuesday's session, so you can plug into that immediately and get registered for that session. It's going to come up immediately at the beginning of the next working week, okay? I think we're good to go. Alison will return back shortly, I feel. Brilliant. Let's go, let's do this. Let's make sure we've got some good colour pens. Stick those in the pocket. Fantastic. So guys, welcome aboard. Welcome to this lunchtime learning. Really appreciate you being here. I'm looking forward to sharing the content from today. Picked up some gems this morning. I'm looking forward to sharing those with you as well. So good. Welcome to Sticky Lunchtime, Sticky Learning Lunches. This is MBM, the home of sticky learning, and we are the soft skills provider to the UK grocery and manufacturing industry. And it's all about sharing ideas and concepts that are going to help you be the best version of yourself, especially in a time of crisis like this, but also at the same time future-proofing you, your mindset, your development, and how we are going to be working in this brave new world. Let's not kid ourselves. We are not going to be working the same when all of this comes to some sort of end. Our lives will be completely different. There'll be more home workers. The way that we focus on our work will be different, and we're going to talk a bit about this today and how industry is going to change, because if it doesn't, there's going to be some major challenges for businesses and corporations moving forward if they think they can go back to how they were working previously, okay, before this situation. What are we going to be covering today? Closing the door just in case we get a little visitor of a 7-year-old. So, what are we going to be covering today? We are going to be covering deliverables. We've already covered the managing side of it, managing some of your focus, your routines, and certain elements here. We've talked about cabin fever through isolation and actually how some of us are already experiencing some of those symptoms. We talked a little bit yesterday about making sure that we're staying neat and looking at our wardrobe and seeing how we make sure we separate the right elements of our wardrobe and make sure that we're using that wardrobe to focus our thinking and to create habits that are going to help us move from one aspect of our life into another, so that we don't blur it. So we're not wearing the relaxed clothes while we're doing work and take on that physiology and psychology of that clothing into our routines. Today's session is about deliverables. It's about actually what you are delivering and how you deliver that and how you have those conversations and make that happen. The first thing we're going to cover today, and I want to bring some clarity to this for you, is one of the business staples and personal development staples, SMART objectives. So guys, go crazy, break it down, tell me what SMART means in the comments. What elements of what does the S stand for, the M? Let's get those in the comments and get those moving first of all, and we'll see what's working, what's not working, and then how I can help you tweak and adjust that to actually get even more out of that model, that framework, to help you focus even further. Because I guarantee some of you are using it in a way which is actually holding you back, and I want to change that right now today and make that really exceptional for you. So in the chat box, in the questions, what does SMART stand for? If you want to break it down one at a time, go. Come on, people. Let's see some fingers moving. I'm going to get this up on the board. What have we got? Can we see that? Just about. Still got a little bit of sunshine. What have we got? We've got specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, good, time targeted, nice, realistic. We've dropped in there as well. Good. Any more for any more? Realistic. Good. Agreed. Nice. We've got some different elements. There are a few different permeations of this, a few different variants of the SMART model, and it's really important that we use the right elements of it at the right time. So when we're planning out our time, it's really important that we break these into two parts. The first thing is SMART objectives, yes. SMART goals, no. So let's look at this. So the first part is about it being specific. Your goals and your objectives have to be specific. Yeah, they say vague goals lead to vague results. So you have to have absolute clarity on what you're working on and the elements that need to be adjusted, where you're going to this, who's involved, all these sorts of questions. And we're going to share a link also in the chat box. There is an article on the MBM website all about SMART objectives, and we're going to share that so you've got that as a takeaway for today. The second one is measurable. Make sure my spelling's good. How will you know where you are in relation to the top of the mountain? This specific part is, which mountain are you climbing? The measurable part is, how do you know where you are in relation to the top of the mountain? How far have you got to go? What elements are required, or what distance can be cleared today that so in the point of 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, you're on track to get to where you said you were going. These are the measurable elements. And I'm going to come back to some text I've got here, some interesting facts I've learned over the last few months. It's what gets measured gets done. So if you can see how you want to get fit, you want to run a certain distance. Okay, I want to get this fit. I want to be able to run this distance in this time with this sort of recovery. You put the specific details in there. Then the measurable part is how you're going to clear that distance and how you're going to make those improvements over time. The third part, is it achievable? So what have we got in here? We've got agreed as well. Achievable is the common one. Agreed on also. Is it achievable? Can I do that? Is it structured in a way so that I can take bite-sized chunks out of this objective? Because if it isn't, you need to go back to the drawing board and at that point, break it down a little bit further. Maybe put another step in that's going to move you closer towards it. And I'm not sure who the quote was, you know, one man's stepping stone is another man's stumbling block. So if you're finding something is a stumbling block, how do you break it down in another way so that it does become the stepping stone and you can move forward? Let's make sure it's achievable. The R, the bone of contention, okay? Super important we understand this. Normally, we talk about things being realistic. This is the original SMART model. The R stood for realistic. It's important that some of you put in there no relevance. This is one of the new changes to it, or results focused. When we're dealing with SMART objectives, it's really important that it is realistic. Okay, your objectives have to be realistic. Again, if it's not realistic and it's not achievable, you're not going to put the energy in because you're going to be disheartened and frustrated that actually you can't make that step. I use the analogy of buying a computer game where the first level is so hard that it's the most difficult thing and you can't complete it. And as a result of that, and after that, then the levels get easier. Well, actually, you wouldn't sell many computer games if that was the case. We need to make sure that our objectives are relevant and results focused. We already understand it's going to be achievable, but it has to be this in relation to where we're going. The last part, time bound. When we're setting objectives, we need to understand how long it's going to take to get there. What's the reason I say, and I'm going at pace here, I'm aware of this, guys, because we've only got 20 minutes to cram this in with a little bit of technical stuff. We're going to go bam, bam, bam. We need to know what the expectation is to make that happen. With the way we're working at home now, we have some differences of the way that we can use that time, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. SMART objectives, yes. SMART goals, no. When we're working in personal development space, the moment you make a goal SMART and you make it realistic, what you're saying is it already exists. When we make a goal SMART using this, what we do is we make it small, mediocre, average, repetitive, and time wasting because it's not interesting. Because when we say it's realistic, it already exists and it's not going to put us under the positive tension and challenge that's going to enable us to grow in order to make that goal a reality. Because it's not about achieving the goal, it's about the person you have to become in order to make that goal a reality. We break the goal down to SMART objectives. This is super important. And again, we're just going to crack on with this. Hope that makes sense to everyone. Objectives, yes. Goals, no. So we make them relevant, results focused. Where to next? Wow. Managing expectations. I've rubbed that off because we might have to use it again in a minute. The second thing is about managing expectations. I need to read this to you. Frederick Taylor and scientific management. This is the guy that has a lot to ask for when they're doing kind of productivity and time measurement management processes. A lot to answer for in this day and age. Around this, Frederick Taylor in 1856 to 1950, whose experiments at the US company of the Bellingham Steel in the late 19th century have been the foundation of so many today's assumptions about how to be a manager and how to get people to be more productive. Taylor watched men shoveling coal at the steelworks and noticed how much more efficient some were than others. So he created this model to help managers work out how to be more productive so that they could lay more people off. Great. Start to see how this is important now. His recommendations to the steelwork bosses reduced headcount by 72%, cut costs, and increased profit. Taylor believed that the scientific division of labor divisions of labor, so he believed in that, and a change had to be imposed to improve profits. This section was finished up. The trouble was that mostly whenever time and motion was introduced, strikes and protests followed, as indeed they ever have since. Manager as a Coach by Jenny Rogers. The way that we're working now is completely different. Even over the last 2 years, a number of companies have been giving unlimited holiday. If you get the work done, you can go on holiday as much as you like. Right now, we're working from home. The previous paradigm of work, the Industrial Revolution, you were measured or being paid for the number of hours you were spending at your desk, whether you like your job or not, whether you're engaged with your job or not, whether you're even 60% engaged or productive or not. As long as you did the 40 hours at your desk, you got paid the amount of money. But right now, you've just zeroed out all the distractions. Yes or no's in the chat box, in the question box there. Who is currently more productive than they ever have been as a result of working from home? Let's see how many people we've got on there. We could have done this as a poll, but I'm just going to do it as a questions thing today. Who's more productive than they have been before? I know I am. Agreed, Alison, and you've got lots of practice doing this. And it is more, some up, some down. Again, this is, how we focus our attention and how we plan and structure those routines, Colin. Not this week, says Stephen. About the same level, but learning skills, how to increase productivity. Absolutely. So actually, you're doing the work and you've also got a little bit of extra space there to increase the productivity, Chris. That's what we're here for. More, but not engaged. Ah, good. So we're starting to see where the individuals that prefer to have team around them, and there is a balance between working from home and connecting and how we use these connection spaces as well. I've got people that I'm working with at the moment that genuinely do not like working from home, and that's, that might be because they've got 5 children and all the children there, and they've got 2 dogs and all that. That could be an element of it, but the recommendation is maybe have 1 or 2 days at home and then have 2 or 3 days at work. So you're around those people and in the connections and doing the face-to-face work. It's about setting the expectations and managing them. Right now, you're working from home and maybe you are being more productive. Maybe you can get more stuff done. We talked yesterday about, or previous days, about the routine and the structures and finding the balance in when we're in that isolation of guilt, freedom, overworking, not feeling like you're not doing enough. Inside of that, you need to be having conversations with your manager, with your leader, setting up the routines of when you're going to respond to emails, when they set projects or objectives to be, when are they going to be completed, when do they need to be completed on. Manage the expectations, because if you've got children and you're working from home and you need to homeschool them at the same time, your managers and leaders can't see that. So you need to work in that space with them. Let them know when you're going to respond back to the emails, when you're going to respond back with the outcomes. We at MBM have started having very regular one-to-ones, just 15 to 30-minute conversations, project overviews, very quick, short, on-point conversations via Skype, so that we can stay focused on what we're doing. We have the regular contact points, we know what's expected, and we also know where we are in each of those things. And it's really helping to strengthen the results we get and strengthen our productivity and help us get more of these ideas out to you guys in a quicker time, to helping impact the work environment around us as well. Correct. When working from home, tend to be judged more on the output. It's all about results. In the future, what's going to happen, and I'm going to call this out as potentially a change, we're going to get paid for the results, not for the time at the desk. Because actually, no one knows how much time you're spending at the desk. If the job's done by Wednesday afternoon, who's going to know actually you finished it Wednesday afternoon? You've still done the same amount of work that was expected. And I've heard stories recently and interviewed people, and they talked about people quoting for 14 days, but because they didn't have any distractions, they actually only did the 14 days work in 1 day. And this is the way the future is going to be going. So you need to be managing the expectations with your leaders, with your managers, of what work you can do, your family obligations at this time of crisis especially, and when you're going to respond back and deliver on those results. If you're not setting them or setting those expectations and taking the lead on them, not just managing them, people are going to expect different things from you. And that's when frustration and conflict occurs, is when the individual's expectation in here isn't met with a version of reality that is in here. Frustration and friction occurs, and is the result. We all go through this when we start home working, with ourselves, with our family, with the people we work with. So it's about really taking the lead on this. Now, there's a high percentage here that actually you're starting to be a bit more productive in what you're doing. And actually, if you're a bit more focused and a bit more routine, I think it was Chris there that's saying he's starting to learn some new productivity skills. You can start to invest in yourself a bit more. This is huge. Plenty of organisations I've worked for encourage you to develop yourself. Here, have some development time. Go on this training course, whatever. And they say that, but very often that opportunity or encouragement kind of tends to dwindle depending on the volume of projects coming on, the expectations that are being laid down. So it's really important that you use this time very, very wisely. Start coaching yourself. It's huge about the self-development. We've got an opportunity. So I've got a couple of tools and a couple of concepts. One, Josh Kaufman, the author of the Personal MBA, he says invest 5% of your money primarily into your own personal development. So 5% of your salary that you get every month or income, to invest that into personal development. Now, I personally would say invest at least 10%, because the one investment that is always guaranteed to create a return is on yourself. With global warming and global change, there's certain bricks and mortar prices that won't be worth anything in 2015 when the water comes up. So not even bricks and mortar is a guaranteed investment. Let's be clear on this. The investment you make in yourself is the only investment that's guaranteed. This also means your time. Take the time, invest in yourself with time and money. So with this extra time you've got where you're being more productive, take time to coach yourself. Okay, take time to ask yourself best questions. And when you get that time, I learned a valuable lesson in language this morning from Stephen McDowell's here. Sorry, I saw McDowell then, got confused. Stephen McDonald, it's a friend of mine, lives in Ireland. We've met previously and we've had conversations, and he shared the if-then equation. He's in, thanks Steve. The if-then equation. And for me right now, when you've got this spare time, when you finish the work, if I finish this, then what do I do? If I finish this project and I've got spare time to invest in myself, then what's the skill that I'm going to learn? Rather than thinking, oh, I'll finish this, great, oh yeah, I'll check out for the rest of the day. No, like seriously, you've got this time that you've been gifted. You complained before when you were working in the office 9 to 5 that you didn't have any spare time. You were complaining that you weren't getting any support. You were complaining that people weren't investing in you. Well, now you've got the time, you've got the support, and you've got all the space to invest in yourself. Do it. If I finish this, then I do this. Start creating that personal development element as a habit. Start to create a new habit around this. When you finish something, if I finish this, then I'll do this. Easy. And you'll be investing more than the 5% of money and time that Josh Kaufman talks about. It'll be more like 15, 20%, depending on how focused you are on getting your job done. What have we got on here? Stephen has jumped in, great. Flip it. If I don't finish it, what's the consequences? Exactly this, Stephen. One of the core coaching questions I ask people when we're setting goals is, what's the cost if you don't? So I'm going to ask you guys this now, and I want to see this light up now with responses. If you're not taking the time to invest in yourself now, when you've got the opportunity to you to do this and develop new skills, habits, and potential, what's the cost if you don't when we return back to when all of this finishes? Let's see some answers. What's the cost if you don't invest in yourself right now when you've got the opportunity to? Absolutely. There is a whole new level right now, Alison, to help you take whatever, you know, the skills that you've got right now to a whole new level when you come back, so you can come back even stronger. Standing still was going backwards. Absolutely this. Maybe behind in worth or promotion opportunity. This is the fertile ground, Chris, right now to plant the seeds in and to nurture the ideas and concepts you've got and put frameworks in place that are going to help you be even stronger when you get back. My next door neighbour, in the nicest possible way, I've got great neighbours. She's a training assistant, whatever the right name is that's for. She's sunbathing. It's great, fantastic. The sun's out, sunbathing. What skills could that person be learning that's going to help them move forward when they go back into that school environment? And right now, we've got the possibility to do this. So the secret is better planning and more accurate estimating so you don't get the negative if-then. Correct. You don't want the negative if-then. The idea is you want to be more focused. So if I finish this, then we might even tweak that to when I finish this. So actually, we can get excited about the personal development piece. We get the obligation of contracted work done. When that's finished, then I'll do this. Great. So here's the next question for you guys. Bit of group coaching on this session. Is it all connected to the growth mindset? Yes, it is. Doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter what job you're in, it doesn't matter what the position is, it doesn't matter your history. Yeah, a stained past does not mean a stagnant future. Whatever your job was before this doesn't mean that you have to stop because you're in this. What that means is that the moment you start to understand that you can learn, that you do have neural plasticity, that there is potential that you still have to unlock yet, you can apply that growth and you can learn something now and you can move forward. It's got to be this way. If you haven't listened to the book or read the book Growth Mindset by Carol Dweck, do it. I believe there is a copy on YouTube, whether it's a legit copy or not, I'm not sure. I also found it there, but do go and buy a copy of Carol Dweck's Growth Mindset. Sorry, the book is called. Phenomenal read, eye-opening. Next question for you guys, kind of getting close to wrapping this up. If you take 10% of your time as a minimum and you invest that in your own personal development right now, what is the benefit? What is the benefit of investing in yourself right now? Leapfrogging, yes. You won't even stop on the next lily pad. You will go flying through to the next one. Become a lot more rounded, happier, understand more. Absolutely. What else have we got in there? What is the benefit of taking the time to invest in you right now? You'll become more relevant to the job market. Yeah, absolutely that. 10% compound growth in the product that is made. Yeah. And if we are in this situation for maybe 4 weeks, what's a 10% compound growth over 4 weeks if we start doing that every single day? Continual growth, more adaptable to any further changes? Yes, because change is inevitable. The only thing that is set in stone is change. Investment today provides dividends tomorrow, no matter the industry. Exactly that. Tomorrow's successes are based on the choices that we make today. So when you invest today, you get the compound interest. And I'm not going to sing a song from Mary Poppins about banking. It's going to be a growth thing. We have an opportunity to make the most of this. We have an opportunity to ask ourselves better questions, because the quality of our lives, quality of our days is based on the quality of the questions we ask ourselves and the time that we take, that we book in for ourselves to ask that and listen to the answers. Focus and attention on active and positive areas. Yeah, guys, we've overrun on the content. We haven't even got to Q&A, but I wanted to kind of throw as much of that as possible. If you want to do Q&A for 5 minutes, let's go. Thank you very much, Alison. Appreciate it. If you want to ask me any questions, we've got 5 minutes. Let's light those comments up as quickly as possible for 5 minutes, and then we're going to start to wrap this up, and I'll give you a summary of what we covered and what else we've got on offer at the moment. What questions have you got right now? Dun, 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 dun. I'm going to see if there's any water left in my bottle. Yes, most of it's on the carpet. What questions have you got for me right now around expectations, smart objectives, investing in yourself? Alison, good. If someone was new to self-development investment, do you have any suggestions where to start? Yes, actually, a really easy one. If someone just wants to start learning some questions for themselves, I'm going to do a completely shameless plug here. Our coaching cards. If someone's a bit kind of reticent, they don't know where to start with some of this stuff, I would look at our coaching cards because they're based on the Grow coaching model. It covers all the elements of setting up the plan and asking yourself those questions to support yourself. And right now, they're only £5. Easily less than a 5% investment, you know, and to get someone started. The other part you talked about mindset, you talked about Carol Dweck, mindset, the book. And the other one that really changed the game for me, Simon Sinek, How Great Leaders Inspire, the TED Talk. It's 18 minutes and 34 seconds. So if you can't invest 18 minutes and 34 seconds into your own development, if you're just starting, there's some other questions to be asked. So 1, the coaching card deck. 2, Carol Dweck, mindset, to help people shift out of that stuck thinking. And 3, How Great Leaders Inspire, the TED Talk by Simon Sinek. In 2 weeks, we have the PDP. We do indeed. Darren is part of the MBM, he's the founder of MBM, we're part of this team. In 2 weeks' time, we're going to be doing the micro learnings around personal development planning. So next week, we're going to finish the mindset model off. We're going to look at the Grow coaching model, and then we're going to look at PDP planning as well. We're going to bring that to life. So that's on the agenda. So guys, get on the registration page, have a look on there. We'll share the link for that in a minute, and you can register for those as they come up as well. A question here from Colin: how do you deal with massive optimists? It will only take you 5 minutes. Yeah. Sometimes with these sorts of people, you have to strap out what that looks like. You have to say, okay, you know, I really appreciate the optimism. I love the enthusiasm. We've got a couple of elements here. We've got these sections here. We've got this part here. This looks like this, and that's going to take this. I need to involve this person. And we just start to break it down. And depending on where they are in their kind of their social styles and communication styles, we just have to tweak the language a little bit so that they actually hear what you're saying. One of the concepts that I use and teach, David Merrill's social and communication styles. And I am happy we can ping out a questionnaire that I've got around that will support that. Because those people that say it can be only 5 minutes, they're like me, they're results focused, they just want to get where they're going, they don't care about the bit in between. And you may have to say, I really appreciate the enthusiasm. In order for us to get where you see we're going, you need to be aware of some of this information to create that success. And then that will enable you to share some of that content. I've ordered those. Amazing, Alison. Brilliant. It's a journey, not a destination. You're absolutely right. You have to know where you're going, though. Okay. You cannot buy, and we're talking about goals, you cannot buy a ticket to anywhere but here. Okay. So when you're going up to the ticket office of life, you cannot ask for a ticket to anywhere but here. You have to know where you're going. At the same time, you take the relevant content, you take the books, you take the whatever it is you want to do on the train ride, so you can make sure you get there with a smile on your face while you're doing it. Okay, amazing, guys. Look, a lot of content, gone up pace. I hope that was helpful. Scale of 1 to 10. Let me know. 1 being not at all, 10 being absolutely. How useful was today's session? 10, crikey, I didn't even finish the sentence. Alison, thank you very much for that. Superstar, amazing. 9, thank you. What else? 9, thank you. Good, we came with some fire to end the week. Start big, finish big. Guys, if you haven't registered for the next sessions, go to the registration page. We can share that for you now. Get on there, register for next Tuesday, register for the whichever ones are relevant, get on them, get them loaded. We definitely need the recording. Yes, crikey, don't know what time we would have finished if I'd slowed down, Colin. Registration page there is in the links for the group. Click on there, register for the next sessions. You want to look at the coaching cards as well. Thank you for picking those up, Alison. Have a look at those as well. Super helpful. Guys, I hope this has been useful. I'm looking forward. Almost forgot. Happy Easter. Guys, have a lovely long weekend. Enjoy the sunshine. Take the time to breathe. Take the time to enjoy the moment. Be with family, virtually, physically, whatever it is. And let's get ready for another week, and we'll get these sessions going for you. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a lovely day, okay, guys? Thank you very much. Enjoy. See you soon.